May 20th, 2004. The girl never came home. Parents are worried. Let my brother Axia go out to find. Yes, I found it, but the parents want Axia to never forget his sister. Open your eyes. It's like saying I'm dying. Affected by my sister's incident, Axia grew up to become a police officer. On this day's mission, he met a girl and was almost insulted. I suddenly remembered what happened to my sister. In anger, he shoved a gun into the man's mouth. Colleagues hurried forward to stop. That didn't cause a disaster. But he was still forced to take off his police uniform due to his extreme behavior. 4 years later, he became a private investigator. This detective agency only accepts commissions from the families of the victims. This day he received a commission. The uncle asked him to help investigate the murderer of his son. Son's name is Xiao Shuai. Very well behaved and sensible. To ease the burden on parents. I didn't go to cram school in high school but to work part-time to subsidize the family after the bad boy learns. Stay on the only way for Xiao Shuai to go home. Not only did they steal his money and beat him up, causing his internal organs to rupture and die on the street. Due to the younger age of the other party, he was released after only a year and a half in a juvenile detention center. From a legal perspective they have atoned for their sins. But the uncle can't let go for a long time. I want to ask Axia to help investigate those people, see if they have changed their minds. According to the clues provided by the uncle, Axia soon finds the leader of the bad boy. This guy doesn't repent at night. The current job is wire fraud. One girlfriend wasn't involved. I work in a nursing home. To check the board, Axia bumps into each other at the bar every day. Go back and forth to earn the trust of the board. The board brought him to the company. Say it's a company. It's actually a fraud den. Special calls to empty nesters deceive them of their property. In the chat room, Xiao is close to the killing board. Don't hide it, of course. Tell him that he has killed people but already punished guilt for what he said. Not at all on the board. He even used Xiao Shuai's name to defraud the elderly of money. So unrepentant on the board, he simply told the uncle the truth. Uncle was furious. I thought Xiao Shuai died. In exchange for the conscience of this group of people. Who knew they were still dead? Then you don't need to be polite anymore. One rainy night, the uncle raised his knife and stabbed the board. Soon the uncle was arrested for intentional homicide. He will spend the rest of his life in prison and the spine on the board is damaged. From now on, only in a wheelchair. Soon after, Axia received another commission. The boy took out all his savings. Just to find my biological mother. According to the clues given by the teenager, Axia begins to investigate. 16 years ago, the police were in a rented house. A young body was found. Has become bone. The 4-year-old brother was also locked in the house, extremely weak when rescued. The mother was quickly arrested by the police. According to my mother, the son influences his relationship with his boyfriend. I locked my son in his room and didn't come back for 2 months. This 4-year-old brother is the client. Teenager Axia went to the rental house at that time to inquire about the situation. The landlord was deeply impressed by the teenage mother, littering all day. Father quarreled with neighbors and bring different men home. As for who the boy's father is, the landlord doesn't know. I guess my mother doesn't know either. Since the death of my brother, the landlord never saw his mother again. The owner of the mother's part-time hotel. I don't know where my mother is going. I just know that Jay has had a hard time. Axia continues to visit and investigate. Visit the director of the welfare home who took in the teenager. The dean remembers that his mother contacted him after she was released from prison. He said he wanted to meet the boy due to the death of my brother. The teenager's mental state is unstable. So he rejected his mother dear's request. I never heard from my mother again. As for teenagers, lived in the welfare home until junior high school. He was adopted. Teenagers are very sensible, don't want to increase the burden on adoptive parents. Went to work without even going to high school. Stay in the company dormitory during the period. His adoptive parents treated him well. The dean couldn't figure out why he was looking for his biological mother. Axia doesn't know this either. In a few days, Axia received a call from the hotel owner. A guest saw the teenage mother a few days ago. After getting the address, Axia went to visit. The mother is not the mother she used to be. She is now pregnant with 6 families. He runs a bakery. Very loving with her husband. Axia informed the boy of the investigation. The boy is just talking. The mother was dressed beautifully that day. Locked him and his brother at home. The windows were sealed. The first few days, brother keeps crying. Gradually I lost the strength to cry. He watched helplessly as his brother lost his breath. Later, in order to survive, started making newspapers, magazines, and tissues. Finally rescued that memory he will never forget. I only hate my mother. The president kindly reminds, in addition to general investigations, the detective agency there are many other services. As long as the money is in place, you can entrust anything you want. Even if you take advantage of the law or tell the mother's husband. What kind of person was my mother before? It depends on how the boy chooses. The boy is a cruel person. This tepid approach, not revenge at all. He wants to meet his mother in person. The money he has. I just want to see my mother again no matter what he does. Don't stop Axia. It's a long story. Axia chattered uneasily. Does the teenager want to kill his biological mother? He was really worried. Follow the boy all day. The result was beyond his expectations. After many years, the mother doesn't recognize the boy at all. Teenager choking inquiry. Did my mother really not remember him? What my mother did she will never forgive. But now the mother is pregnant. She believes that the child in her womb is the reincarnation of her brother. Begging the mother to treat her child well. In this way, I can bid farewell to my brother's spirit in heaven. After saying this, the boy left without looking back. The mother was left crying and apologizing. This is the way the teenager chooses revenge. It turns out that the boy is not looking for his mother for revenge. The girlfriend is pregnant. He has been missing his mother's love and father's love since he was a child, worried that I would abandon my child like a mother. But after seeing my mother he became convinced. Decided to let his girlfriend give birth to a child. He may have no money but I will make a good father. The next day, the detective agency welcomed another client. Ask Axiu to find a person named Xiaowen. Xiaowen is the client's younger brother. The two separated 15 years ago. We never saw each other again about a year ago. Sister Qin received a letter from Xiaowen. There is an address on it. Guess Xiaowen should be there. Ethan, why didn't he go? And the reason is very simple. I don't want to see Xiaowen and they hate each other so much because Xiaowen committed a robbery and murder at the age of 17 and a bunch of locomotives waiting to block the road. Victims rebel. Causing the motorcycle to fall. Under anger. Xiaowen beat each other with the self-defense baton he carried with him cause his death. Sister Liz hates Xiaowen from the bottom of her heart if it weren't for the mother's cancer. Time is short. I want to meet Xiaowen. She will never look for Xiaowen in her life. In fact, her request is very simple. Find Xiaowen, take it to the hospital. Fulfill mother's last wish. Xiao immediately began to investigate. Xiaowen was originally sentenced to 12 years. Released from a juvenile detention center 3 years ago. After being released from prison, he changed jobs several times. It was a very difficult life. I sent a letter to my relatives a year ago just to ask for money. The next day, Axiu went to the address on the letter to find someone. The men heard that he knew Xiaowen. Immediately got out. It turns out that men are also looking for Xiaowen. I met Xiaowen at the shelter. They will take them in temporarily, people who have nowhere to go in the future. Almost half a year after coming out of the shelter, Xiaowen quit his job of packing food and housing. He looks at Xiaowen pitifully. So they took in each other. But Xiaowen doesn't know what to do. Steal money from his wallet and play games. He lured people away. I haven't seen Xiaowen since then. When the two of them used to drink together, he often hears Xiaowen mention his hometown. Always talking about going back. He didn't care, just say if you want to go back, go back. He also took Xiaowen to take pictures together. I found out later. Xiaowen has cut off contact with his family. Axiu asked him for a photo of Xiaowen. Also left a phone number, let him contact himself if he has news about Xiaowen. There is no clue to the address. Axiu plans to go to Xiaowen's first workplace to investigate. Then the men brings news. Xiaowen called him again to ask for money. Axiu took the money to see Xiaowen. Reveal your identity. It was my sister who entrusted herself to find him. The mother had terminal cancer. I want to see him one last time. The medical expenses have been paid in full. All he has to do is go to the hospital to see his mother. He gets angry when he mentions his sister. It was my sister who abandoned him first. He works hard. Finally eligible for parole. As a result, my sister refused to be a guarantor. I don't agree with my mother to do it. That's why he wasn't paroled. If he had been released 2 years earlier, he can find a better job. It won't be what it is now. Can lead to such consequences. I sent it all his fault. He wants forgiveness. But refused to go back because of face. Axiu's words pierced his sore spot. He dropped a harsh word and won't go back no matter what. Axiu's lost return to the company. Sister surprise visit. He could only tell the truth and failed to convince Xiaowen. Sister said it doesn't matter. Don't look for Xiaowen anymore because my mother passed away 3 years ago. Saying that, he took out a pile of money to pay the previous remuneration. Let Axiu pretend that no commission has happened. Paid. Can you really pretend that nothing happened? Listen to the words of reproach from Axiu. Sister with tears in her eyes. Since Xiaowen committed the crime, he lives in hell every day. To compensate the victim, spend all the money my father left behind. Go out to work with my mother. It's not too late. It also accepts criticism from the families of the deceased and society. On the contrary, Xiaowen is well protected in prison because of Xiaowen. He is afraid to fall in love. All possibilities are eliminated. Until now, what else would he have to sacrifice for Xiaowen? Sacrifice or something? No, Xiaowen can't understand his pain now. Only he can tell Xiaowen what he has been through. What did you lose for Xiaowen? On this day, Axiu took Xiaowen to his sister's house. Take the relic left by my mother to Xiaowen. What is something? Axiu doesn't know. I only know that it is very important to Xiaowen's suspicion is a knife. This knife has been used by the mother since before. Of course Xiaowen remembers. He was hospitalized when he was in elementary school. Mother used this knife to peel apples for him to eat. But what he doesn't know is mother is going to stab him to death. It was all found by my sister under my mother's pillow. The moment I saw my mother take out the knife, my sister understood my mother's intention. It turns out that the reason why my mother wants to see On. I want to confirm one thing before I die. See if On has a new life. If you continue to sit in front of the anti-customer will end his name with his own hand. Always been like this. I don't understand other people's feelings. If he truly repents, be sincere to the victim and an apology from the victim's family and apologize to my mother. Guaranteed never to do wrong again. Sister forced her like this. Don't you just want her to die? So far, everything is irreversible. It doesn't help if she apologizes. Axiu stepped forward and threw him to the ground. Take courage. I never thought of killing him when I saw him. Also ask him not to give up. That's when he realized. He will always run away. Will not face. In fact, the person he should apologize to the most is standing in front of him. Think through these. He kept saying sorry. Watching others let go of their resentment. Axiu is both happy and lost. Happily, the client can let go. Lost. Ishi's revenge plan has not progressed at all. In fact, when he was a detective, the 3 murderers who murdered my sister have been identified. One of the leading bosses now owns a ramen restaurant. Selling noodles like a person during the day, put on another face at night. Go to a nightclub to get to know the boss better. Axiu pretended to be a guest and followed Dalong into the nightclub. After Dalong left, he accosted the woman who accompanied Dalong. Woman named Domi, not very familiar with Dalong. Just a few times. I heard that Dalong passed through the juvenile detention center. As for the reason, East America doesn't know. And every time the boss asks him out he will refuse. I always feel that the boss despises women. It seems that as long as you have money, you can get a woman, but that's what he did. It's understandable to be despised by the boss. Axiu's opinion is different. In the eyes of Axiu, no matter what he does, all deserve to be respected. Axiu's practical behavior moved him. He knows Axiu's purpose. Promise Axiu, boss, if anything happens, Axiu will be notified as soon as possible. Come and Goth too gradually became acquainted. Dongmei also brought a message. Dalong is getting married soon. The bride is a president's daughter. The big man is estimated to be admitted to the woman's house. After learning this clue, Axiu continued to follow Dalong. Found him and pestering Dalong. Take a picture and zoom in. It turned out to be the one who murdered my sister back then. He followed the two to the restaurant. Sitting nearby and eavesdropping on their conversation, it turns out that the hat has been blackmailing Dalong with what happened 15 years ago. I heard that Dalong wants to join a wealthy family. Extortion again. Dalong is also simply take out a pile of money and throw it at the hat. Look at the arrogant look of the hat. Axiu can't wait to talk to each other immediately. There is a trace of the hat. Axiu turned to investigate the hat. The hat still looks dead. Opened an adult store. Sometimes they harass women. At night, the hat follows the boss to the nightclub. It took Dongmei a lot of effort to break free of the two. Come to Axiu. According to Dongmei, the hat is the consultant of the boss ramen shop. Business in the store is so good thanks to the hat. The boss doesn't refute this. Instruct the lady in the store whenever get some hats. All expenses are charged to the boss's account. It seems that the hat has something for the boss to accumulate. The boss was obediently blackmailed. As for what? Not yet known. Axiu wants to ask Dongmei for a favor. Hat home monitor. Dongmei agreed without hesitation. Let's meet with the hat that night. Install the monitor while the hat is taking a shower and leave a small note. Lie about a stomachache. Leave the hat house. A few days later, the detective agency received another commission. The other party is a lawyer mainly responsible for criminal cases. Now on vacation. This commission has nothing to do with work. It's a personal request from a lawyer. I want to investigate a man named Bao Tian. 12 years ago, the lawyer was in charge of Bao Tian's case. Bao Tian has a hobby, likes to look for girls on the street. They were also cajoled by girls into getting on the bus, then violence in the car. Afterwards, he said that the two were your love and my will. The lawyer is from Bao Tian's side. Lawyers can only think twice to help it reduce criminal law. During the trial of the case, according to the victim's policy, beating marks on the face and body, and other circumstantial evidence, it proves that the two are not your will. Therefore, Bao Tian can only plead guilty to the crime. Strive for discretion. Finally, the sentence was successfully reduced. The reason why the lawyer wants to investigate Bao Tian. I want to know if Bao Tian has changed his life after being released from prison. Axiu readily took off the commission. The president told Axiu, the lawyer just now's a master at attacking juvenile cases, seems to have been defended by Wood. This name, Axiu will never forget because he was also the one who murdered his sister back then. Lawyers don't just defend Wood, he won a trial. If Axiu has fire in his heart, you can take the opportunity to charge more commission fees. Let the lawyer bleed. Axiu soon began to investigate after Bao Tian was released from prison. Changed jobs. 4 years ago I met a female colleague at a food processing plant. After marrying a female colleague, he quit his job, moved to my hometown in Nara. Axiu is going to Nara soon. Make sure if Bao Tian is there, Ethan, do a conduct check, but there's a question we need to figure out before we go. Lawyers have worked on so many cases. Why do you only want to know about Bao Tian? Don't investigate others like Wood. This gives the impression of lawyers, the main culprit in the murder of the girl. But he doesn't remember the name of the victim. Axiu told him he was the victim's brother. Because of his defense, Wood was only sentenced to 10 years, released from prison 5 years ago. Doesn't he care if the Wood changes? A moment of silence and he spoke eloquently. I don't know if that counts as an answer. He's always a girl. A year ago, my daughter eloped with a man she met online, strangled in a hotel bed. He used to have faith in his work. Even if the salary is not high, he didn't give up either. After all, facing criminals head-on, lawyers are indispensable. But from the day my daughter died, he changed his mind. Man's defense counsel denies intentional homicide. Advocate that his daughter is also at fault. Request for discretion. The sentence was finally reduced. Defense counsel, same as what he used to do. This could be God's punishment for him. Since then he took a sabbatical. Want some comfort? Go to a victim's party. There he met the mother of the victim of the Bao Tian case. Shocking news from my mother. Bao Tian claims that victims are also responsible. After the verdict, the victim believes he is at fault. Immersed in the pain of self-blame, he committed suicide a year later. Mother wants to ask him, has Bao Tian changed? Because of the promises he made in court, Bao Tian will definitely be a new person. Can he be held responsible for what he said? He didn't answer. Fleeing the scene in a hurry. That's why I found Axiu. I want to investigate the current situation of Bao Tian. The next day, Axiu handed over the investigation report to the lawyer. The whereabouts of Bao Tian have been found in the hospital's intensive care unit. It was Mrs. Bao Tian who took him there. Only then did he know. Fire broke out on an acre 2 weeks ago. Bao Tian rushed into the raging fire. Rescue the boy who can't escape in time. Severe burns all over his body, despite receiving a skin graft. But still in danger. Neighbors also speak highly of Bao Tian. Take care of the business seriously. Actively participate in volunteer activities. It seems that Bao Tian has reformed. Otherwise, I won't risk my life to save people. After the lawyer left, Axiu asked the president how he knew about his sister. It turns out that the president is Axiu's benefactor pulled him back from the brink of crime. Then he took out a knife. This knife was a birthday gift from my father to Axiu. After the sister incident fermented, the barber shop at home was besieged by reporters. He rushed up angrily. Lu Qidao came to the police station, met the president, who is still a police officer. Nervous. He hid in the toilet with a knife. The president feels something is wrong. Followed to the toilet, wait for him to come out, catch him. Know what he's doing here. A knife is a good knife. But it would be a pity to use it to kill suspects. The president will keep this knife for him temporarily. When he really grows up, give him the knife back. Later, the president went to great lengths to find him who was unemployed. Hire him to work in the detective agency, just to one day. Can you return the knife in his hand to him? But now is not the time. At the same time, news from East America. Dalong went to the nightclub just now. Pick up the phone and leave in a hurry. It looks like the hat is calling. Axiu, hurry to the hat's house. Turn on the monitoring device and eavesdrop on the conversation between the two. After a while, my sister's voice came from City Original. The beast in the hat recorded a video of mutilating his sister. Uncle is furious. Get out of the car and find the hat to settle the bill. Dongmei realized something was wrong. Hurry up and stop. Looking at the toppled East America, Axiu regained his sanity. Tell East America about my sister's mutilation. Dongmei to get the videotape. To pretend to agree to the invitation of the hat. Take advantage of the inconvenience to steal the videotape. After the hat was discovered, it began to beat up East America until my sister lost consciousness. Neighbors heard the sound and rushed to the police. Dongmei was taken to the hospital. Fortunate life ribbon is still there. Soon after, Dongmei was discharged from the hospital. Axiu took it back to his home. The next day, Dongmei left without saying goodbye. Although he likes Axiu. But I don't want to be a burden to Axiu. I don't want Axiu to take care of him because of guilt if by fate. See you later. Dalong learned that the hat hurt people again. And I realized that if I didn't take off my hat, your great future will be ruined. Because what Domi stole was just a replica. So the hat doesn't care about his hands. If there is an original, you can copy as many as you want. To get rid of him. Dalong made an excuse to send him away. A man is beaten to death with an iron rod. The police soon found the body. List Axiu as a suspect. Wiping detective agency for questioning, but they have no evidence. Plus the president's protection. Finally, I can only be grateful to leave. However, Axiu was soon ruled out as a suspect. The police found the tape at the hat's residence. I saw the punishment of the three of them back then. Plus the boss has been contacting the hat frequently recently. Guess the hat to threaten the boss. After being cornered, boss kills the hat. The police arrested the boss. Dalong also confessed to the crime. The dreams of the wealthy are broken. He will spend the rest of his life in prison. Soon after, Axiu came to his father's barbershop. The father and son chatted for a while. I learned that Axiu works in a detective agency. Father wants to know if he is happy. If you're not happy, you can try another job. It's been so many years since my sister persuaded him not to be trapped in the past. The father has lost his sister. I don't want to lose him again. With my father's guidance, he went to the detective agency and resigned. You can Goth president wants him to finish his last commission. The client is the president himself. The object of investigation is wood. Wondering what kind of life would lives. The cost of the investigation is 1 million. Time is unlimited. Until he is satisfied. Saying that, he took out the knife. In fact, the president has already checked. Wood was released from prison 5 years ago. Did several jobs. I worked in an auto parts factory half a year ago. Axiu came to the factory according to the address. Unexpectedly, Wood has resigned. According to the factory manager, Wood goes to work is fainting. Just after confirming the wooden ward that should still be in the hospital, Axiu disguised himself as a cleaner to check for weakness. During this period, I remembered the content on the disc. The crime committed by 3 people is completely a temporary uprising. Look at the beautiful trimming passing by. This is strong pruning. When I think of these, Axiu will not be angry but take out that knife and get ready to start. Who knew that Mutu suddenly opened his eyes? But I didn't notice Axiu's movements. Just think of him as the new cleaner chatting with him. In fact, Mutu has a wish to find his mother beat it up. Saying that the lawyer pushed the door open, Axiu fled in a hurry. The lawyer caught up know what he's doing. Advise him not to be impulsive. He still said that find out about it in your own way. The lawyer told him about Wood's childhood. Parents divorced at the age of 10. The mother only took the younger brother. Throw the Wood to the father who only drinks and gambles. Wood feels abandoned. Since then, he has given up on himself. This is real Wood. Lawyers hope that Axiu will learn to face, rather than being stuck in the past. The next day, Axiu found Mumu. Tell the other party that the Wood has cancer. Lying in the hospital waiting for my mother's visit. Although we know that Wood has cancer. But in Mumu's heart, the Wood is long dead because of the Wood thing. Mumu is in great pain. I hope Axiu will let herself go. In desperation, Axiu can only leave. Mumu's singing came from behind. When he came to the hospital again, the barrel is dying. He took out the recorded singing and played it to the barrel. This is the greatest punishment for the barrel. Can't go back to mother. I can't even see my mother before I die. Last Mumu is here, but it was too late. Mutuo has passed away. This is a punishment for Mumu being born and not raising. Axiu walks out of the hospital, standing in the street shouting. As if calling out to his dearest sister. It's like saying goodbye to your past self. 15 years later he finally let go. Soon after, he went to the seaside coffee house. I saw the long-lost Dongmei. In the future he may continue to be torn by the past, but he still wants to be with Dongmei. Get up and move forward. Hesitate for a moment. Dongmei nodded in agreement. The two hugged each other tightly. In a few days Axiu came to work in the detective agency. The president was very confused when he saw him. Didn't you quit? Why are you here again? Axiu has let go of the past. His eyes became very firm. He understood that this person was already alive, should look forward. Looking at the back of the president, he took a deep bow. Continue to start commissioned investigation. The bad party is over here. The whole play is very heart-wrenching. Axio is trapped in the past and cannot extricate himself. I see different ways for different people to resolve the past. And that inspired him. In the end, he didn't make a comeback move at the same time. The whole show raises another question. Facing the murderer who mutilated his family, should we choose to forgive? In fact, you can choose not to forgive, but it must not be swallowed by hatred. Happiness is sometimes just a thought. Only by reconciling with the past, talent and the future are delayed. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. Remember to like and support it. I am Dang Dang. See you next time.